And so another story begins. This one much darker.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Dark indeed. Welcome everyone to Darkest Dungeon. This is another one of my favorite RPG series. It is insanely tough. There's a warning right here saying it's about making the most of a bad situation. You're going to fail. People will die, and when they die, they're dead forever. Everything you do is permanent. It's also loud as hell. The insect while I also play on it. On that quite a bit because holy shit. Oh, that is actually insane how loud this game is sometimes. I may actually, yeah, I'm gonna just go into settings real quick. I forgot just how loud this game is. Jesus Christ. Okay, that should be okay. But yes, as I was saying, this is Darkest Dungeon, one of the toughest RPG games I've ever played, and I have fallen in love with it. Again, this is another one where I've come back after a long hiatus. I haven't played around with any of the DLC, but in this version I have all of them. I went ahead and made a save for this just so I could test out the settings, make sure all the DLC installed correctly. But here we go. With the stagecoach destroyed and the caretaker gone, you will have to make the journey to the hamlet on foot. Right, so this is Darkest Dungeon, ladies and gentlemen. These two are our starting adventurers. We have Reynauld the Crusader and Dismas the Highwayman. And yeah, I think the best way to show you guys what this game is all about is just to get right into it.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Okay, that right there, big opportunity to explain something to you. Darkest Dungeon has a stress mechanic. The red bar under each of your characters is your HP, the black bar is your stress. This fills up all the way. Your characters have a crisis. They can either push through it and become heroic, which is very rare chance. You never want to count on it. Or they can inherit some sort of flaw. Maybe they argue with their allies. Maybe they're afraid of everything that's coming their way. Maybe they are just stubborn and won't obey any of your orders. In short, you don't want to let this hit 100. And if it hits 200, they have a heart attack. And if they have any HP left, they go down to 0. And if they're at 0, they die. I'll explain that more when I have a character hit 0.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Yes, this is first combat of the game, and this is where I can explain everything else to you. These 4 squares here are each character's abilities. The white dots are which position they can use the ability from. The red dots are what position the ability will target. So like, for example, this one, I can use any of the first 3 positions, and it will hit anyone in the first 2. This one I can use in the second or third position. It can hit everyone in the first, second, and third positions. And then a lot of different attacks apply different things. This is a bleed, which obviously enough damage over time.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them.
And then in yet another way this game is kind of brutal. You have a limited inventory space and it's shared between valuables and stuff you need to survive. This game is not kind.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Another thing you've probably noticed, the narrator's voice in this is just... I don't know who they got to voice act the narrator in this game, but his voice is beautiful. It is perfect for like the dark, grimy dungeons.
Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
They're already surprised, but that just means they're going to move at the end of the turn, so it's worth a gang of stun, yeah. Never mind, stun resist. Shit, I forgot he had that. I should also note I'm not playing this on the highest difficulty. Oh, that's another thing I should probably address. Enemy attacks can inflict a lot of things too, like stress and bleeding. And debuffs. But I'm not playing this on the highest difficulty. Like I said, I have all the DLCs in here. I haven't played with any of the DLCs before, so I wanted to get in here just to see what they were all about and sort of get my bearings with them. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Do I go for the stun? He's got 50% stun res. So should I just go for a smite, hope for a crit? Oh, I missed. I think at this point I need you to start opening the vein. There we go. There's the crit I was looking for. So, if you guys are wondering what I was doing during the first couple turns with the Highwayman, his Grape Shot Blast, which I was using for the first 2 turns, it inflicts a debuff that gives plus 4% crits received. So it basically just raises my crit chance anytime I attack someone with that debuff. Like, you can see it right here. Which I believe with the... Oh, no, he's surviving on 1 with the bleed.
As the fiend falls,
and I believe that is victory, because he's dying anyway to the bleed. Another way this game is just... I'm going to say it a lot during this playthrough. This game is cruel. So, in this game, when you kill an enemy, they leave behind their corpse, and the corpse takes up space in combat. And when that happens, you can't target anything. Like, no one will move up if there's a corpse in their way. So you have to clear the corpses in order to get people to move forward and into range of like your melee abilities. And I know what you guys are saying, hey, there's a chest there, you might want to grab it. You read right there why I'm not grabbing it. This is one of the few chests in the game that is always 100% guaranteed to be trapped. And so you never want to open this one. It's to teach you, hey, sometimes it's better to just leave with what you got. And a lot of this I'll explain as well later once we get into the actual Hamlet portion of this. These heirlooms are important for upgrading stuff, and gold as well is important for upgrading and buying stuff. And then here's another thing. Every time your characters go through the dungeon, they have a very high chance of receiving a random trait. Could be good, could be bad, could fuck over the character for the rest of the playthrough, so we'll see what we get. Diurnal, so -2 speed if the torch is below 26, but he also has +5 accuracy. That's not bad. And that's pretty much useless. Which I guess I should say, another thing you have to keep on top.
Home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
I am never going to interrupt the narrator for this entire series. I hope you guys know that. But anyway, the torch is another thing you have to keep on top of during this game. If your torch starts to get low, enemies get a lot more dangerous, you get a lot more stressed, your accuracy goes down. A lot of bad shit happens, but there's also a trade-off in which you get more gold whenever it's dark. But it's another thing that takes up inventory space, along with food to make sure your party doesn't starve, shovels to make sure they don't break their hands digging through barriers, any other like random stuff you want to bring along. Antidotes take up space, which cure poison. Bandages take up space, which cures bleed. There is so much stuff you need to take with you to ensure your safety, but it takes up the same inventory as the stuff you want to take out of the dungeon. It is such an odd trade-off, and I love it. Yes, here's where you can recruit more people. Normally, this is going to be random, like you can see all the...
will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Yes, I almost forgot my own rule, not interrupting the narrator. But anyway, you can see all the different portraits of people we might be able to get later on. The first two you recruit are always going to be the Plague Doctor and the Vestal. Which Plague Doctor...
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
Plague Doctor is a poisoner, he's like a debuffer, really good. And then the Vestal is your healer.
Sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
And then here's what I was talking about with the upgrade. So these symbols are heirlooms that you got from different areas within the Darkest Dungeon. You use these to upgrade parts of your hamlet to...
found even here, in the mud and rain.
Yeah, you use heirlooms to upgrade the parts of your hamlet to make things easier for future runs.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
I guess I should also say, the narrator of this game is your ancestor. Someone who tried to venture through the dungeons before you and failed. And you saw in the opening cutscene how he failed and what became of him. I'll give you a hint, that gunshot was not to anyone else.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
Yeah, I'm just going through all of this right now so I don't have to later.
Trinkets and charms, gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
I will say this is nice. These trinkets don't take up inventory space. Instead, every character has space for, I believe, 2 trinkets plus their weapon and armor. So they don't take up any real inventory space unless you get more of them while you're in the dungeon. But anyway...
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about with like the 4 slots. So this is like front to back. And also, yeah, Red Hook made a bunch of like custom party names. So if you put your party members into a certain order, you're gonna get a unique name for them. This one is named the Usual Suspects because this is what pretty much everyone starts with, and this is how they usually orientate themselves as well.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
You always bring a lot of torches, and you always bring plenty of food. That is general rule of this game. You never want to be caught out without it. But yeah, you can see already just how much the inventory space is going to affect decisions going in. Like antidotes, holy water, skeleton keys, shovels, torches, bandages, medical herbs, laudanum. All of this stuff takes up inventory space and makes it so you can't bring back as much treasure. It's like risk versus reward. But here we go into the first expedition into the darkest dungeon. Your first expedition into the ruins of your ancestry. Be curious, be careful. And be immediately creeped out by the music. I love this game. Alright, so another thing about this game, there are 4 different areas. The area we are currently in is the ruins, which these are mostly populated by skeletons and other things. So the bandit's bleed ability isn't going to be as useful here, just because obviously enough skeletons can't bleed very well. But the doctor's poison ability does work on them, so that's why they give you him to start out.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Yeah, and you can see up here what I was talking about earlier. This is your torch. Keep the shit lit. If you don't, you're going to regret it. Did not mean to make that rhyme, but it works. And
as the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Here are the skeletons. And like I was saying, normally you don't really want to use bleed abilities against them, so I'm just going to take a shot.
Executed with impunity.
That is another thing I want to say. I keep forgetting stuff I want to say. There is chances for your party to de-stress from stuff, namely if they get like crits. Does not happen often. Do not count on it. There's a lot of the good things that don't happen often in this game. Honestly, no one needs healing, so you just go for judgment. You know what, Reynauld? Show him the Elder Scroll.
Press this advantage. Give them a quarter.
I can't figure out how that works. Because he is just holding up a paper and saying, "Read, motherfucker." Okay, Okay, shovel, citrine, and a torch. I believe this dungeon is like semi-scripted as well. I don't know 100%, but yeah, because you're always going to run into rubble here.
Stone seems bent on preventing passage.
It gives you like just enough torches to make it through.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Another, I'm going to be saying a lot of another thing I need to explain. Surprise condition. If the enemy is surprised, your team is guaranteed to go first. If you get surprised, which you might see later, it all depends, your party gets shuffled, so you don't get to decide where your party starts out in the combat.
The light, the promise of safety. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Yep, that's why I didn't want to let her take a turn. Enemies in the back typically aren't very dangerous for like health damage, but they are like 90% of the time going to be doing stress shenanigans. And no one can hit. Great. Well, the good thing is he resisted the movement. If that hadn't happened, he would have just been pushed way back to the back and wouldn't have really been able to do anything.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Well, I guess he still would have had his pistol, but that's the main reason why Highwayman is so good. He can hit from like any range. Alright, nothing in here. I think whatever room we move into next, we're going to get a scouting chance.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Yep, that is why we keep the torch lit. That is why we keep that high. Because of that huge bonus to monsters being surprised. Dismiss, that performance was dismal. What the fuck, man? You know what? We will do this, I guess. Shuffle her forward and do a stun. And then stun him as well. So he can be pretty dangerous with bleeds.
Decimated.
I would have thought he wouldn't have been able to do anything from back there, but oh well. Open a vein on this guy.
Decisive pummeling.
Okay, so he's dead. I can just go ahead and do this one.
A death by inches. Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Hold on, what is this? The blood. Special type of supply item. Any collected bottles of the blood will be retained in your estate at quest end. They may be added to the provisions of embarking parties. It is rare. Spread it around wisely amongst those in need. What is this? The call is unyielding. The urge is irresistible. Only the blood will quell this. What is that from one of the DLCs? I think that's from Crimson Court now I think about it.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Yeah, here's what I was talking about with scouting. If you scout ahead, Uh, it tells you what to expect in the next couple hallways and rooms. Very nice to have, especially in cases where you do run into stuff like this. Because this right here is a trap. If you don't spot this with scouting, it will go off and it will hurt your party. Fortunately, breaking them does give you a bit of stress relief. I'm actually going to go down this way. I know we can keep going that way, but I like to clear out as much of dungeons as I can. Probably should have done that with the rogue now that I think about it. Oh well. Oh, it's holy water. Nice, I got the debuff on both of them. Not that I think I really need it, but still good to have. Throw it on him. I resisted it. And we'll do Dazzling Light. Another Grape Shot Blast. Yep, takes out him.
A faint hope blossoms.
Then I can gas him. Blinding Light to stun. And can't do anything there. Can do this though.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born. The ground quakes.
Another thing, whenever people are stunned, usually they have increased stun resistance. You can see right there, 50% stun resist for 1 round. It's to stop you from like just stun locking enemies into an infinite combo. The thing is, I believe crits gets around it and will guaranteed put on whatever negative effects you're wanting to use. Like don't quote me on this because it has been a while since I played this game, but I believe that even lets you bleed a skeleton. Like that's how strong crits are in this game.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Yeah, I thought holy water helped with that one. I don't want to backtrack, but at the same time, we're just gonna keep moving forward. Another thing to be careful of, sometimes these traps will reset themselves, so it's just something to keep in mind. Oh, right. Another negative thing. So sometimes the traits your guys will get is very negative. For example, Reynauld, if I can go to his character sheet. Can I go into that in dungeon? Oh, I can. So he is a kleptomaniac, meaning that on occasion when I find loot, he will steal it. So just something to keep in mind. I forgot about that though. He is very good in light. So that's another reason to keep the torch up.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
And right here, this is why you pack food. So during adventures, your party can get hungry. You can either have food to feed them, which will regain you health, or if you force them to starve, all of them take 1/5 of their health and damage, and they gain some stress. So it's good to have food. Then I'm actually going to continue adventuring because I want to see what's in this last room. Which has a blockade, and I don't have any more shovels. So you're going to see what happens when you don't have shovels.
Without tools of iron, you must rely on flesh. and indefatigable purpose.
Say hi to the reason you bring shovels, ladies and gentlemen. I love this game, but it will just like bend you over. All right. Get blight going on these guys in the back. Get a grape shot blast. Or not. Stun the stressor then. Then mark yourself and gain some protection. I marked my lead guy for a reason. Gain? Do you just not like the Plague Doctor? I gave you a nice, comfy target, and none of you are attacking it. And we'll throw some blight on this guy since he has high protection. Jeez, they really want to kill this guy. That right there is why you bring Vestals, by the way. Just that little bit of healing. It's not even that much, but that little bit makes all the difference.
The offensive.
Okay, Dismas, you're gonna need to work on your aim, man.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Alright, and that is why we explore, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in a decent condition, like you don't have anyone near death, usually it's better to explore, just get that last little bit of loot. But that is the end of the quest, and I'm going to check how we're doing on time. I think we might be able to go a bit further. I don't know, we'll see how long the next quest is. I don't want to make too long of videos to start. Clutch hit, ooh. Good, but not good on a healer.
The tents are pitched, banners fly, and the corpse wagons stand at the ready. The circus has come to town.
Oh yeah, Butchers. This is like the PvP version of the game. I have not heard good things. Honestly, it's the one part of this game I think people have a problem with. Just because I've heard a lot of people saying it's just all stress teams. But anyway, it won't be going there until maybe later on in the game. If you guys want to see the Butcher's Circus, I'll go in. If you do want to see that, just comment down below, tell me. But anyway, you always want to check Stagecoach again, because this is where you can get some more... Ooh, some occultists and some man-at-arms.
To fight the abyss, one must know it.
Always good to pick these guys up. So, occultists are weird. He doesn't even really have that. This is like a back... Not even a backline, because he has his hands from the abyss. I might have to get him one of his other... Which you can unlock other abilities. It is... here, but I can't use that yet.
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
Yeah, so that is the tavern. it is the main way you heal stress. Your heroes are going to heal their wounds automatically every time they leave the dungeon, but stress sticks around. So you have to send them into the tavern to get fixed, or send them to the
cobwebs have
church.
been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the faithful.
So those are your two ways of relieving stress. Really good to have those in the back of your head whenever you're going through a run. And then I always like to upgrade Stagecoach first, just so you have better recruits coming in.
All manner of diversion and dalliance await those who cross the threshold with coin in hand.
Other than that, I don't think we have anything else we can upgrade. I mean, we can upgrade this, but we need more of the crests, which is like the generic one, and then like there's more specific ones you need. I think we're good after that. Yeah, we're gonna go on one more, and then we will cut the video there. Yeah, we're not gonna do the medium ones yet. That'll be like once I don't have to explain so much stuff. That will be when we go for like the mediums and the longs. Excuse me, got hiccups all of a sudden. I think since we just got an occultist, that might be worth it. Yeah. Stock up on food. Torches. I don't know what this is, and I don't know if I want to bring it. Bring some shovels. Just in case. And one key. Why not? The ruins bear all the signs of your ancestors' frenzied digging.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Alright, so this is where things are a lot more random. I don't know what's coming. This is going to be a lot more just me reacting to stuff as it comes. I'm going to cautiously have you do this, but usually bookshelves mess with you. Oh, map. Holy shit, that was a good map. Okay, glad I did that. That was the traps I was talking about. Hold on, did the map warn me about that and I just wasn't paying attention? If it did, that is embarrassing. I might have to look at the footage after this to see if I just did a fuck up.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Yes, in Radiance, may we find our asses not getting kicked. Okay, already gotta use a shovel.
The cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
I'm not sure if occultist is best to do this. We're gonna try it.
Glittering
Oh,
gold,
nice.
trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
That makes sense that an occultist would somehow know alchemy. Alright, so if I remember the map correctly, there isn't anything until there is something, but it doesn't matter. It's just food. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Up to the front of the class, poor boy. Another thing that is very important to remember about this game, enemies play by the same rules you do a lot of the time. So these archer guys like to hang out in the back. When they're up here, they can't do much.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Yeah, see, they just have that weaker attack that moves them back.
Precision and power. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Okay, time to take a risk. Paid off, thank God. So that was Weird Reconstruction, which is one of the cultist's riskier abilities. Basically, you take a gamble because he can do anywhere from 0 to 13 healing, and also has a chance of doing bleeding. So it is a very risky thing to do, but when it pays off, man, does it pay off. You know what? Front of the class. Go ahead and heal the rogue fellow, and then we just smite him.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
That'll be nice to have when I get a Houndmaster later. I know there's nothing here, but I want to do the combat, and I also want to look at the curios. Because usually those things can give you decent stuff, if you're lucky. Pull to the front, and then a grape shot. Okay, you miss more than anyone else in the party. What is going on with you? And that right there is why we stun that person. He's one of the few enemies in this area that has a chance to inflict bleeding. Right, please, just hit them. Thank you. You're summoning Cthulhu. How do you miss? Do you just ignore your call? Okay, Dazzling Light to stun this guy. Keep damage down. Then probably Zealous Accusation. Of course they dodged it. No, don't pull the healer. Okay. Grape Shot Blast.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
I may as well.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Another thing to remember, bleeding doesn't just go away at the end of combat. He's going to be bleeding for a bit longer.
Remind yourself that overconfidence
Bleeding is a
slow
pain in
and
the ass in this
insidious
game.
killer.
That wasn't worth it. Every time I mess with this thing, every time, I've had someone get locked in it and get claustrophobia. So let's see if this happens again. Okay. You are right. That is better than a trap. I love this game, but you see, that right there is what I'm talking about. Sometimes traps just show up. Like, for zero reason, they will just appear in the middle of hallways you've already gone through, just to screw with you.
Star is born.
And again, that's why we bring food. You do not want to deal with the stress of that. It is, with the amount of things that can cause stress in this game, you don't need to be adding another source. Pack has already been looted. Oh, wonderful, spiders. Okay, I don't know. Why do you miss? I don't want you to pull them forward because I'm hoping that I can kill them. Okay, that works, and then kill with the Elder Scroll.
Executed with
There we go.
a trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Books only screw me over. Jesus Christ. That was like a third of it. Not exactly a third, but like close to a third of his stress in one go just from reading a book.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay. Grape Shot Blast just to get us started. Abyssal Artillery to hit the stressors in the back. Well, they're all going to get a turn, unfortunately, but hopefully it's not too bad.
Only the strength to follow it.
And this is where the game starts to show its hand at just targeting one person for stress. So when he hits 100, he's going to...
A dizzying blow to body
Game?
and brain.
I don't need a demonstration right now. Okay, so when he hits 100 stress, that's when he will have a crisis. Which I'm hoping... I was hoping not to have had... Okay, it's Eldritch Push.
Injury.
That is another crit.
Fear.
You need to take a timeout, sir. You know what? Yeah, hands from the abyss didn't even work. And you can't do anything there, so I have to move you forward. And you can't even use Grape Shot Blast from there, so you have to just slice. At least this should get close to finishing it up.
A momentary abatement.
Then accusation to get rid of some of the corpses. Oh, you guys are getting a demonstration of the stress mechanic in action. Great, my crusader is afraid of everything.
Finally claim their due.
Ah, I love this game. I love it, but I hate it. Why out of everything in this dungeon are you the thing that gives me the most trouble? Oh, now you're just stabbing me. Great. Here, I got a bigger one.
As victories mount,
Fucking hell.
so too will resistance.
I love this game, but it feels like there's a stress mechanic in real life for it.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Reynauld, just shut up. So that's another thing that's going to get annoying. Reynauld will now have a chance of disobeying my orders. That's what I was talking about with claustrophobia. Now my rogue is claustrophobic. You're already claustrophobic. Go ahead and give it another touch. Well, now you're bulimic. What does bulimia even do? Okay, not much. It's fine. That's not a concern for short quests. He is already stressed beyond belief. You don't need to heap on top of it.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Game, you are really testing me. So this is what I was talking about earlier. If your stress bar fills up all the way a second time, you receive a heart attack. And now he is on something called Death's Door. Which basically means for the rest of this dungeon he's going to have some stat debuffs. And if he gets hit again while on Death's Door, he has a chance of dying. So they give you like one last chance to make or break, get yourself out of the situation. It's just to make sure he survives. Don't want to risk him targeting. Game, stop!
Set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Weird reconstruction, please. That helps. He's not on death's door anymore, but holy shit, we need to get him more health. Okay. Oh, that's another thing that can happen. You can just stress the rest of the party out too. He's going to have a heart attack at this rate. Leave the boy alone. Dude, get the fuck up here. Come on. You want to stress him out so bad, you may as well go shake his hand. It's always you. It is always you who's left. You can't even hit him. He is going to die of alcohol poisoning at this point. Jesus. Leave the boy alone.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I'm not going to be using holy water for the rest of this dungeon. I'm just going to...
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Oh my god. I love this game. Well, maybe the Stockholm Syndrome talking, but I do like it.
More bones returned to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
Yes, and Reynauld almost joined them. Oh my god. That actually gave me a headache. Yeah, dude, go drink. Go. I like how you didn't get anything bad. stout, so you restore more health, better accuracy. You're now Kleptomaniac 2. Captain Picard over here is a Klepto. Curious and... Why is my healer become a crit machine? Anyway. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Darkest
Though
Dungeon.
long years may seek to separate them, action and consequence will invariably have their dreadful reunion.
What is going on with this? Hang on.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
What's with the mosquitoes? Is that one of the DLC things? Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into that as on the next episode. If you guys want to see this continue, I love the game. It stresses me the hell out, but I love it. It's honestly up there as one of my favorite RPG games out there. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know the RNG can screw with a lot of people, but I honestly don't mind it. It's one of those games that I love to just suffer in. And I don't know what that says about me, but it is a very good game. I highly recommend if you haven't given it a try, you do so. But anyway, that is Darkest Dungeon. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Leave a like if you like the video. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you want. Of course, that's completely up to you. I appreciate it either way. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.